Kurt Vonnegut, the novelist, calls this the man in the hole story. And there's 5 crucial points to this story. And the reason I want to sort of break this down for you is one of the challenges sometimes people have is deciding what bits of the story are important. What can I take out? What do I have to leave? And if you understand just the basic 5 points of the story, it then becomes very easy to move stuff around or to add detail or to take stuff out. So let's look at it. And you guys will all be familiar with this, whether you realize it or not, because these are the type of stories we hear every single day. So we start with a setup. We have a character. If we're telling a story about us, the character is us. Now, the character always wants something. Even if the character wants to be left alone, it's something they want. So the character ideally wants to go from here, where they are, over here. Now, over here may be some sort of a goal. It could be a specific goal about, getting into a university course or getting a job or their business being successful. Or it could be something more abstract. But there's something that they want. And if they go from there to there without any problems at all, we have no story. Nice life, but we have no story. So the second thing that happens is there's always some sort of a problem, right? We're trying to get from A to B, and suddenly, this thing pops up. Now, I've included this little guy because, obviously in popular literature and in movies and television, there's usually some sort of a villain, right, that keeps the hero or the person that we're following from getting what they want. Now, in speaking, usually the villain is a bit more abstract. If we're doing business speaking, the villain could be market conditions changing. Or, if this is a personal adversity thing, maybe the villain is ourselves and how we perceive reality, how we perceive our lives. But there's something bad that's happening here. And what happens in a story when something goes wrong? In a really great story? Yeah, it gets worse. This guy down here, oh my God, I can't believe it. So yes, this typically is what happens in the story. We have a problem. The problem gets worse. So we're down here. This is where the emotion is. So if you're looking to have a very emotional story, this is where you want a lot of your detail, right down here. And especially if you can get to the moment, that single moment that's the turning point when things were as bad as they could possibly be, that's kind of the juicy stuff. And then things inevitably get better. Something changes, right? Either there's a different mindset, or maybe, you meet somebody who gives you a different point of view or some help. But something changes, your approach changes, and suddenly instead of going downwards, you're going upwards. So I call this bit the insight bit. It's the learning part of the story. And then eventually you get to the top and everything is really cool. The villain has been vanquished, unless it's a new motion picture, and then the villain lives in other days, so there can be a sequel. But this is basically it, right? Pretty much every story you tell when you speak is going to follow this arc to a certain degree.